time in the timeline of events, the things that have been said, the rhetoric, all those kinds of things. Yeah, people posting in the chat already, a forged Democrat letter. Okay, that's good to know. Thank you for that. I appreciate that and that intelligent take. Another example proving that this is the end of MAGA. And I was thinking about this because we got the final signature last night on the discharge petition, which was Eric Swalwell. So we now have all 212 Democrats, and we have 4 Republicans. They are Thomas Massie, Ro Khanna, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Lauren Boebert. I'm sorry. Nancy Mace. Let me back up a second. Nancy Mace, Thomas Massie, Lauren Boebert, and MTG. Those 4. Ro Khanna is the co-sponsor. He's a Democrat. So 4 Republicans have signed this. My question is, why haven't more Republicans signed it? And when you're starting to see how the cult is reacting to this, they can't give an answer to that. They can't, because their argument has been that we want to expose the deep state. We know we've got that hot mic moment, the undercover video captured by a DOJ official who said, "Okay, everybody tap like crazy, please, and if you can help us just by gifting roses or any tiny dinies, whatever it might be, whatever you got. We just got our daily restriction, which is fine. Just need your help getting out to the FYP. So please, please, please." We've got that hot, that captured video of a high-ranking DOJ official that said what they've been doing is going through and taking out every Republican and conservative and leaving every liberal and Democrat on it. Now, if that were the case, right, then wouldn't that be more evidence? Thank you, Carol. You're very sweet. Wouldn't that be more evidence of just releasing it? So if that were true, then there's just another reason for the files to be released in their entirety without redactions. I've read to you guys the list of what's on the discharge petition. It's what all of us should want. Excuse me. It's complete and full transparency. Explanations as to why something's redacted, the names of victims and any survivors, and the names of any survivor, references to any survivors removed. Explanations as to why something is still considered classified. There's no concern for any embarrassment, any public official, high-ranking official, famous person. That's exactly what we want. Thank you, Swishy Raiders. Love you guys. Thank you, Swish. I appreciate you guys every day. Hearts in the chat for Swishy Raiders, please. So again, why is there just not clamoring within the Republican base, within the MAGA base, to contact their now there may be some people, right? There may be some people that are devout Trumpers who've been in contact with their elected officials because they believe, because that's what the administration has told them, that Trump is not connected to this in any way. That's what they believe, and they want the information to come out. So why then do we have just cowardice Republican members of Congress? Remember, we did the math on this. So the compilation of data over the years regarding sexual violence against women, I think the numbers are 1 in 4. So 25% of women have either been raped to completion or an attempted rape. And then the numbers change based on whatever the classification is, SA or grape, et cetera, et cetera. 1 in 4. Could even be 1 in 3 depending on the conditions, but 1 in 4 we'll say. There's 30, I've talked to you guys about this before. There's 31 Republican women in Congress, in the House, 31. We've got 3 that have signed so far. So 25% of 31 would be roughly 8, which means there are 5, if we use the maths, there are 5 Republican women, again, according to the maths, that have been either victims of completion of grape or attempted grape. And they're not willing to put their name on this. It is the easiest vote they should ever have. This tells you, though, this tells you that they do not care about protecting women, children. They don't care. They do not care. They care about their access to power. They care about their AIPAC money. They care about their donor money. They care about their corporate PAC money. They care about their seat at the table. They have sold their soul. The same people will go back to their district and claim that they're servants of God. So it's just this wild exercise in hypocrisy that we are continuing to witness every single day. And because MAGA gets their news from their safe space, they're not going to tell the full story, and they're not going to believe the full story. So when we provide them with evidence, you guys know the drill. You're the smartest chat on TikTok. You guys know the drill, right? They're just never going to believe any of it, which is fine. They don't have to. You do. We do. We know it's out there. We've seen it. And now there's more and more information that's becoming public. Before we get too deep down our road today, I'm going to just take a moment here. And I want to shout out. I've told you guys how I feel about our mod family. I want to shout out Brooke in particular. In our team, in our matriarchy, we have cabinet positions, and Brooke is our Secretary of State. And the reason that we gave Brooke the Secretary of State position is because of how she's probably one of the kindest, most sincere, genuine, sweetest people I've ever met in my life. We figured if there's going to be anybody who's going to be able to tear down the walls of friction, it would be her, because of her ability for diplomacy. She's an amazing human being, and I just wanted to tell you, Brooke, that I love you very much from all of us in our little mod family. You're an amazing human, and we're so grateful that you are our Secretary of State. So thank you, Brooke. Hearts in the chat for Brooke, please. Okay. So all this being said, I think it's necessary that we continue to talk about what it is in terms of what we know. So you'll remember there was that massive lawsuit, right, that was filed by Trump for $10 billion because of the Wall Street Journal coming out with a story about this birthday book. I'm going to play you a little sound because I think this kind of puts a needle in that. And this is Caitlin Collins was talking about this, and they're discussing this in terms of how the lawsuit might either continue or just go away. So here you go.
Now that you can see this letter that allegedly bears Donald Trump's name, obviously they've been denying that over at the White House and saying that it proves their point. What impact, though, does this have on this lawsuit?
Well, Donald Trump's lead argument just went out the window, Caitlin, because you said the key word in the intro to this show, non-existent. Twice in the complaint that Donald Trump brought to initiate this lawsuit, he claims the letter is non-existent. Now we know that it is quite existent, so to speak. And it's really important. Jasmine Crockett just made this point. The way that this letter came about is relevant because it's not as if the Wall Street Journal just said, aha, here's an image of the letter. No, we now have seen it because Congress, the House, subpoenaed it from the Epstein estate. And that's exactly where you would expect to find it if it was as the Wall Street Journal says it was. And now Donald Trump is falling back to argument B, which is I didn't sign it. But you know what? Legally, that actually doesn't matter. We're all going to get out our magnifying glasses and analyze how does he draw his letter D and letter L. Doesn't matter because the Wall Street Journal doesn't say definitively that he signed it. They're actually quite lawyerly and hedged. And what they do say is it's uncertain how this letter came about. So even that is not going to get Donald Trump anywhere. He's running out of options. I think this lawsuit was a long shot from the start, and it just got quite a bit longer.
That's the point, right? The claim is that it didn't exist. Okay, the claim is that it didn't exist. We now know it exists. And this was not put out by the Wall Street Journal. This was petitioned and subpoenaed from the Epstein estate and now published and now in the hands of the Oversight Committee. I got that damn beep. That is driving me freaking crazy. I will have to fix that somehow. It's all right. Can you guys hear it? Because if you can't hear it, then I'll be fine. I'll navigate through it. The weird part about it is that the immediate response from and I've got some more things that I need to share with you, and we're going to be very careful because some of the images from this book are pretty graphic. But the weird part from the Republicans in the Oversight Committee is this statement by James Comer. It's appalling Democrats in the Oversight Committee are cherry-picking documents and politicizing information received from the Epstein estate today. Oversight Committee Republicans are focused on running a thorough investigation to bring transparency and accountability for survivors of these heinous crimes and the American people. President Trump is not accused of any wrongdoing. That's not true. And Democrats are ignoring the new information the committee received today. The committee will pursue additional Epstein bank records based on this new information. Democrats must decide if the priority is justice for the survivors or politics. That is fucking hilarious. My gosh. I mean, Mr. Comer, booby, just sign the petition. Find another person in your party if you guys are so concerned about survivors' rights, if you are so concerned about the survivors, if you are so concerned about getting to the bottom of things and getting the truth out there, then just sign the discharge petition. This is why I think it's the end, because they have nowhere to go. That they have nowhere to go in this circumstance. So I'm going to try to be brief with some of these pictures. I don't know how the TikTok. hearts in the chat, F1 in the chat. So this was the image that was discussed. Okay, and you can see at the bottom there's a signature. Now I don't know if it's intended to represent something in particular, but I will read this for you. I want to take this off the screen real quick because I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how TikTok's going to respond. We're going to talk about this next too because this was his signature. So I'm going to leave that up there for just a second, and then I'm going to go to here and I'm going to read to you what that says. So it's the picture of the outline of the woman with the signature at the bottom. It's signed at the bottom, Donald J. Trump with the signature, and it says, voiceover, there must be more to life than having everything. It's like a conversation. Donald, yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Jeffrey, nor will I, since I also know what it is. Donald, we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Jeffrey, yes, we do, come to think of it. Donald, what does that say? It's hard to read. Hold on a second. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? Jeffrey, as a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. Donald, a pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. So there's that. And now that is public record. It is now in the congressional record. It has now been released. Now the Oversight Committee, it's whoever, the Republican Party, Democratic Party, they can choose how they want this to go public. And then the claim, well, this is the most wild claim. Let me play the sound for you. Keep that in mind, what I just read to you. And how he wants to move away from this. He does not want to have this conversation. I wouldn't either if I were him. Where is this one? Hold on. I thought I had this queued up already. And I just, the gaslighting in an attempt to try to distract, because he's in a situation now where he's expecting his base to continue to believe his lies. Because no matter what he says, there's evidence against. Okay, so here you've seen the picture. I just shared that with you. And this was his statement. This was back in July when this information first came out.
I think I heard you say something the other day that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
You think it was fraudulent?
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
One more time.
Yeah, I think I heard you say something the other day that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing person.
You think it was fraudulent?
I don't do drawings. Sometimes people say, would you draw a building? And I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity stuff. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women.
They say, you're right. He's right. He didn't make a drawing of a woman. He made one of a girl. That's right. Good call. God bless veteran. So godless veteran. So here we are. Then the conversation was that it's not his signature. So this is the signature superimposed from the letter, the one that we were just discussing, the birthday letter. And then this is a letter back in 1995 to Lillian Volk. Okay. We have more. Here's another example of the same signature. 2000 letter to Rudy Giuliani. 1998 letter to New York officials. Another letter to Rudy, and then another letter to Rudy in 1995. You tell me. Okay? You tell me. So the argument that the letter didn't exist is gone, because it does exist. It's gone. That argument doesn't exist. And to be honest, I think the lawsuit threat was just frivolous anyway in an attempt to scare Rupert Murdoch. And he's like, well, bring it. Let's go. Because he knows that if they go through this lawsuit, then we get this little thing called discovery. Superimposed, and I have a better visual for you. Hold on. This is the signature that's on this letter that I just referenced, and then that was a letter back in 1995. Is that a coincidence? I'm not a handwriting analyst, but what is there left to prove? What is there left to prove? And we know that he's lying about pictures because even people in his circle has talked about him diddling too, apparently, but doodling. It gets worse, though, okay? It gets much worse. Now, trigger warnings on some of these pictures that I'm about to show you, but these are other examples of pictures that were in the book. And the reason I think this is important is because all these things are in there. And this is just the one that doesn't exist. We know it's not true. It does exist. We have the goods, okay? This is another picture. And again, trigger warnings. This was another cartoon image that was in the book. 1983, I'm assuming J.E., balloons to little girls 20 years later. Another picture that's in the book. So, again, draw your own conclusions. Another example as to why we want the list released. Everything. 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 The way that this is broken down, this is all public. We've got it in our Discord. We'll share the PDFs with you, what was released from the Wall Street Journal. I'm sorry, from the Epstein estate, because that's where it was filed from, the birthday book. It's broken down into categories. It's really interesting. It's broken down into like the New York Times, Brooklyn, and Friends. And the girlfriend section is really, really weird. There's some strange references in there. I'll just read it to you. This is reporting from NBC. Let me play the sound first, because I think the sound sort of gives us a good lead into the story.
The first look tonight at that now infamous birthday book for Jeffrey Epstein. Its cover page here, part of a set of documents released late tonight by the House Oversight Committee, which subpoenaed Epstein's estate. And inside that book, page after page, allegedly from Epstein's friends, a handwritten note from former President Bill Clinton, his office, not returning our request for comment tonight, although a spokesperson has previously said Clinton knows nothing about Epstein's terrible crimes. Separately, a sketch in the book of women massaging Epstein. And this drawing, released earlier today by the committee's Democrats, who say it was included for Epstein by President Trump.
The one you just saw.
The drawing shows the outline of a woman's torso, breasts, and hips, with a message that reads, in part, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey," and later, "Enigmas never age," before the closing words, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." At the bottom, a familiar scrawled signature. The note's existence, initially reported by the Wall Street Journal in July. The paper says it was part of a book compiled by now convicted sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell, given to Epstein when he turned 50 in 2003. That report prompting immediate pushback from the president, who filed a $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the journal. His lawyers alleging no authentic letter or drawing exists.
Again, his lawyers alleging that there's no authentic letter or drawing and they don't exist. So that's the crux of their entire argument, that it doesn't exist. It does. So they're going to focus on the word authentic? Good luck with that.
You did not write a letter for Jeffrey Epstein's birthday.
I don't even know what they're talking about. Now, somebody could have written a letter and used my name, but that's happened a lot.
The press secretary tonight arguing it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it.
That's what they're going to say. It's very clear, her quote was, "It's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it." Okay, then if that's the case, then you can go out and do the research and do the investigation into someone who forged it, even though your name is included in the index, saying you are one of the friends whose name is listed, right? Okay.
The Republican chair of the Oversight Committee blasting Democrats for releasing the drawing, accusing them of cherry-picking documents and politicizing information received from the Epstein estate. Among the other documents now public, Epstein's last will and testament, his 2007 non-prosecution agreement with the Southern District of Florida, and entries from his address books from 1990 through 2019.
Oof.
As for that drawing, the White House says the president's attorneys will continue to aggressively pursue litigation. Tom?
Okay, so
it's quick.
Hold on. There's that. Right? So let's just try to be objective for just a second, okay? First of all, how hilarious is it that James Comer, of all people, saying they cherry-picked? Don't forget, there was a resolution to the Oversight Committee introduced that the only person that was going to be able to review the documents and then report out on it was Comer. So you can miss it with your bullshit. The problem is the mouth breathers in MAGA space will be like, yeah, see, who's going to do it? And they won't care. We do. That's why we're going to talk about it. So again, just to reiterate, the entire argument connected to this potential lawsuit against News Corp, the Wall Street Journal, and Fox, and the same media entity, is that the letter didn't exist. It does exist. Okay? So then going back, I want to just go back real quickly. Do I still have this pulled up? I think I do. Hang on a second. Let me see. Do I have this? I'll get that in a second. Let me just read you this story. House Committee Monday released a trove of documents related to Epstein that included a lewd note from President Trump that's alleged to have sent as part of a collection of messages for the late convicted offender's 50th birthday more than 2 decades ago. The so-called birthday book was by far the most revealing of the records made public from the subpoena the Republican-led House Oversight Committee sent to E's estate last month. The panel released all the documents it received hours after Democrats on the committee posted an image of the birthday letter that was signed Donald. Trump has denied having had anything to do with the card, which was included in a leather-bound book of birthday messages for E in 2003. The birthday book also included a handwritten letter that appeared to be from former President Clinton. It referred to Epstein's having childlike curiosity and a drive to make a difference. Clinton's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And let's be clear here for MAGA in the back. If Clinton's name is connected to these crimes against children, then lock his fucking ass up too. Throw him under the jail. You see how easy that is? Because we don't worship politicians and we truly do care about crimes against women and crimes against children in this case. See how easy that is? Anybody who's connected to it, I don't give a fuck who they vote for. If they are connected to this, then throw their asses under the jail. Why is it so difficult for you guys to say the same thing? Your elected officials in Congress right now are protecting predators. And you guys support it. So you can scream all you want, but it's true. Okay. Clinton's office did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Clinton has denied ever having gone to Epstein's private island where some of the abuse is alleged to have occurred. The Wall Street Journal was the first to report the existence of the card. Democrats posted on Monday. Trump sued the Journal, its publisher, and 2 reporters in July. A spokesperson for Dow Jones said the newspaper stood by its reporting and would vigorously defend against any lawsuit. That lawsuit's going to go away. Okay, it's going to go away because discovery would have to happen. NBC News has not independently verified the Journal's reporting. White House Deputy Chief of Staff Taylor Budovich said Monday on X that the note should help Trump's legal case because, quote, it's not his signature. Okay, let's pause there. This is the signature from this letter. This is a signature dated 1995 to Jane Volk. But wait, there's more. Hold on, let me get you the right one. Letter to Giuliani. Oh, my chair just broke. Letter to Giuliani in 2001. New York officials in 1998. Another letter to Giuliani. Another letter to Giuliani. That's not his signature? Okay. 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 If that's the claim you want to make, good luck with that, because they will what they'll do is they'll bring in experts. They'll bring in experts. They'll have handwriting analysis done. They'll bring an expert. They're all the same. Okay, they're all the same. They can deny that. They can deny that. And the MAGA sphere will believe it. They'll come up with some story. Some story. Okay? By the way, real quick, this is a book that Sam's reading in our mod chat. Just want to let you know. Okay, anyway. So maybe he used the auto pen, right? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. But if you're gonna put all your eggs in that particular basket, then good luck. So the story continues. Earlier examples of Trump's signing just his first name, include one from 1984 that was published in the New York Times in 2016 and others from 1999 on an auction house's website. They appeared similar to the ones the Democrats posted. George Conway, a lawyer and former Trump supporter turned vehement critic, posted a thank you note on social media dated April 13th, 2006, which he said he received from Trump with a signature that also resembles the one in the 2003 note to Epstein, along with the ones that I just shared with you. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said in a Wall Street Journal story on Monday about Democrats making the card public, quote, proves this entire birthday card story is false. As I've said all along, it's very clear President Trump did not draw this picture and he did not sign it, she said in X. This is fake news to perpetuate the Democrat Epstein hoax. Do you understand? See, I know you guys do because you're the smartest chat on TikTok. Everybody, please keep tapping and sharing, please. Let's see if we can get to 100K. Thank you, everybody, for being in here. Don't forget, we are crowdfund. Do you want to support the channel? Please do so. Actually, let me take a quick pause right there for just a second. That's not loading. I will check back on that. Thank you, Dana. Appreciate you. Love you, friend, as always. Let me check here. Stand by. Ann says, thank you, Ann, for your kindness. I appreciate you. Like probably many women, you were a survivor of SA. The Epstein drop kept me up all night. It's disgusting. I agree, Ann. Thank you very much. Thank you, Carol. I appreciate you. Thank you for what I do. I appreciate you very much for being here. Appreciate you guys. Let me adjust this real quick. Appreciate you guys. So if your argument that none of this is real and you want to keep holding on to this whole this document hoax thing, you've lost that argument too. Remember, folks, they're not talking to you and I. They are talking to their base. They are talking to the people who are the ardent supporters. That's who they're speaking to. Because everybody else sees right through it, like we always have. That's what they're talking to. And let's keep in mind that the president pressure campaign on members of the House, elected representatives of the House that are there to serve the American people, accuse them of hostile acts against the president if they sign this document for full disclosure and full transparency. You've got nowhere to run, MAGA. You've got nowhere to run. This is why I'm saying it's the end of MAGA. And I think it's going to happen in phases, right? Because they're going to still stand 10 toes down because they have to. Because they've been defending him. Well, you guys know. Fifth Avenue could stand there, shoot somebody, blah, 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 blah. Defending him against everything. Crimes against women. You know, he lost his appeal. We're going to go through that story in case you don't know. He lost his appeal in the E. Jean Carroll case, which means she gets her money. A victory. And Amber, I saw you. I love you, friend. I know it was a rough day yesterday. But that's justice. So you're in a situation now, MAGA, where you're going to distance yourself as soon as you can from this when this comes out. And why is it? I know why, but I'm asking you. Why is it that you just can't pressure your elected Republicans and have them sign the list? We need two signatures. That's it. A discharge petition, in case you guys don't recall, means that any member of the House at any point can introduce what's referred to as a discharge petition. Okay? All it requires is a majority of the House to sign on. So in this case, it's 218, one more than half. When that happens, the Speaker is forced to bring that item to a floor vote. Okay? So then I would like to assume then that if you get the 218 signatures, that all six of those Republicans would vote with every Democrat, and you would get this public. The resolution, the discharge petition, stays open until the end of this particular congressional session, term. So this is what, the 119th Congress? So it stays open until they swear in the new Congress in January of 2027. Who are the holdouts? Well, it's every other Republican. So there's only 4 Republicans that have signed it. So it's Nancy Mace, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Lauren Boebert, and Thomas Massie. Every other Republican has not signed it. So you want to tell us, MAGA, about transparency? You want to talk about that? None of you can defend it. None of you can defend it. It's the easiest vote they have ever had because there's people in the MAGA circle that want this information to be public as well. It's not that difficult. You just sign it. You just sign it. So let's go back in time a little bit. I want to just remind people that what we knew going into this. So this was in early summer. Okay, when conversations regarding this is before he was elected. This was conversations about whether or not he was going to release information. Here you go.
Things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I would. Did you notice a change in his voice there? Just listen again for cues. I always listen to this kind of stuff. Just listen to this.
One way to build trust is to declassify things that everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about it. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So if you were president, would you declassify, you can answer yes or no to these. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah. I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah, I would.
So that's how it started, right? And don't forget, promises made all during the campaign about the deep state, this cover up, blah, blah, blah. So let's go back to the timeline. Okay, so again, this was compiled by the Washington Post. Everybody, please continue to like and share the live. Don't forget, we are crowdfunded. Please don't forget about our gifting goal. And also, if you haven't completed your hearts yet, please do that. And if you're interested in supporting the channel, great way to do that is to subscribe. Although you don't have to be a subscriber to join our Discord. It's free. So please head on over there too, because we have a lot of fun in our Discord. It's a great place to share information, and it's a great community. So please take my advice and just go do that. All right, let me just get some water. There's a lot to talk about here. Okay, starting in February of this year, February 21st to be exact, Pam Bondi, AG, tells Fox News that the Epstein client list is sitting on my desk right now to review, adding it's been a directive from the president. Late February to early March 2025, Bondi distributes binders labeled Phase 1, containing mostly public known material. Media and activists accuse the move of being performative rather than substantive. Okay. May 2025, Wall Street Journal and the New York Times both reported that Bondi informed Trump that his name appears in the Epstein files. These files also reportedly contain unverified hearsay about Trump, images of child porn, and identifying details on victims, raising concerns about the release. According to Senator Dick Durbin, FBI agents were instructed to flag any records mentioning Trump, and many files were redacted due to a privacy or FOIA exemption concerns, FOIA, Freedom of Information. So that piece is interesting because then we take that statement from Dick Durbin claiming that FBI agents were brought in to flag any records referencing Trump. We add that to the DOJ whistleblower who was on a date, and he talked to the reporter or the interviewer who worked for Project Veritas saying, oh yeah, they're going to delete all the liberal, or they're going to delete all the Republican conservative entries and only leave the liberals and the Democrats on it. So that kind of tracks. June 2025, Elon Musk tweets that @real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files, suggesting that's why the files weren't public. The post is later deleted. July 7, 2025, DOJ and FBI issue a memo stating no Epstein client list exists. There's no evidence of blackmail and no further disclosures will be made. Okay. 5 days later, on Truth Social, July 12th, Trump defends Bondi's handling and dismisses criticism, urging MAGA supporters not to waste time and energy on Epstein, somebody that nobody cares about. Okay. July 16, Trump calls the Epstein files a total fake and made-up story crafted by Democrats, a hoax, labeling the controversy a scam and a Jeffrey Epstein hoax. The next day, July 17, Wall Street Journal reveals Epstein's 50th birthday album, including a sexually suggestive letter, we showed you that, bearing Trump's signature and a drawing. Trump denies authoring or signing it and sues the Wall Street Journal and its parent company for defamation. His parent company is News Corp, owned by the Murdochs. You know that. Around this time is when J.D. Vance went to Montana. to meet with the Murdochs. Coincidence? So Wall Street Journal does that. Trump demands the DOJ release all pertinent grand jury testimony. Bondi responds that they're prepared to move to court to unseal it. July through August, judges refused to unseal grand jury materials, stating that the records would not reveal meaningful new information. Maxwell's attorneys also opposed disclosure. On August 20th, DOJ agrees to provide Congress with the files with bipartisan demands for transparency growing. August 22nd, as files move to Congress, Trump downplays the matter. Quote, innocent people shouldn't be hurt, and expresses support for keeping it totally open while appearing indifferent. On September 3rd, survivors appear at Capitol Hill demanding full disclosure. Trump calls the events a political distraction. The White House denies allegations by former Trump aide Jack O'Donnell of underage encounters, calling him not credible. Again, that's the whole specifics around the DOJ piece. And then September 8th, the House Oversight Committee releases the files, including the birthday book with controversial letter, a sketch of a naked woman, and salacious phrasing. Trump again denies any involvement, calling it fake, and has filed a $10 billion lawsuit against Wall Street Journal for reporting on it. Summary, early 2025, promises of transparency. Mid-2025, disclosure that Trump's name appears. The DOJ, FBI conclude no client list exists. Their own conclusion. Trump begins framing it as a political invention. WSJ report of the birthday letter intensifies denial and legal actions from Trump. And then we have Mike Johnson saying that he's an FBI informant. We sufficiently debunked that yesterday because he recanted his story saying, I was just saying what the attorney said. And the attorney, the survivor's attorney, went on the record saying, Mr. Trump cooperated with us at one point and now he's not. He's pulled a 180. So the conclusion that reasonable people, logical people, objective people can come to is that this is the biggest political scandal in American history. And Republicans in Congress are covering up for the fact that Donald Trump is all over this thing. And they don't know what to do. You can just see the look on Mike Johnson's face, the way in which he's trying to navigate through this, right? He's just like, think of it this way. First of all, we know that Mike Johnson and his son are each other's corn partners, like they monitor each other's corn use. That's pretty telling. But he's this Seven Mountain Mandates Christian. He believes that we are a Judeo-Christian nation. He believes that our country should be run under God's law. Well, we know that the Bible has all kinds of examples of P3D-ophilia, so that doesn't surprise me. But here we are. The simple answer to this is I'm going to advise my caucus to sign on. We want 435 signatures. So this is a bipartisan effort because we care about survivors. We care about the victims of this abuse, and we don't give a shit who's on it. That's the simplest thing to do. So then my MAGA fans in here, like Ambush, you're probably in here today because you love me so much. Kiss, kiss, boo-boo. I can scratch your back for you again if you want. Why won't you advocate for that? Why won't you advocate for this to be released? What are you afraid of? Democrats have proven that they're not afraid. What are you afraid of? Once again, people who truly care about the protection of the survivors here and holding those responsible accountable don't give a fuck who's on the fucking list. We don't care. We do not care at all. Not one bit. Not one bit. I read you that story from Stacey Williams yesterday about how she was introduced to Donald Trump and he did not give her consent to touch her breast. She did not give him consent to grope her. So why are you protecting? Well, I know why you're protecting him because, quite frankly, let's just say what it is. You get off on this shit. You don't care that women are abused. You don't care that children are abused. You don't care that crimes against women and children are committed because you show us every single day. You despise brown, black, and trans people and the disabled and marginalized community in general. You despise those groups so much that you'll overlook this shit. So much. You have been conditioned. You are fueled by hate and rage for marginalized communities. that you are willing to accept the fact that your boy, the entire game that you are caught up in with your red hat that's on too tight, and you're protecting predators. And for years, you guys ran around with Pizzagate and adrenochrome and the global cabals. And you understand the global cabal is led by your boy. Thank you, TT. And I know it's going to be a reckoning for you. I know it is. You might want to think about resolving that now because it's going to be bad. You're going to have to wear this collar of shame. And you know what? I'm going to call your shit out every single day. And you're going to have to face family members in the future. We've discussed this before. When all this becomes public, because it will, because the survivors, the brave women who stood up, who were girls at the time, 13, 14, 15-year-old girls, children, 12, I think, 12, 13, 14, 15 girls, okay? They're going to name names. They're going to name names. So then you in your red hats are going to have to face your children, your grandchildren someday, when that red hat and your pterodactyl flying Trump flag is up in your attic, buried away, and they find it, and they come downstairs and they say, Peepaw, were you a Trump supporter? The guy that abused girls and fantasized about having sex in common with his daughter and walked in? I'm in a pageant, Daddy. Would you be, or Grandpa? Would you be okay if somebody walked in on me? And what are you going to say then? You're going to deny it? You're going to say somebody gave me that hat? Maybe. Some of you will be like, yeah, I did, but I don't care. You guys don't think things through because you despise brown people so much. Black people, especially black women. Got some sound that I'll play for you in a second. Members of the LGBTQI community, the disabled community, the infirm, the poor, veterans. You hate everyone unless they look like him or me. And you know how we know that? Because you tell us every single day. You come up with these spaces, you drop the N-word, you call people the R, you tell women that they shouldn't have been in that position, they should have kept their legs closed. What was she wearing? Can't believe women. She could have been lying. I'm not going to believe it until I see the evidence. What evidence? A camera in the dressing room? You don't accept the verdict? You mock people. You laugh at people suffering. You're trying to justify cutting benefits for SNAP. You support Donald Trump rebuilding the fucking Rose Garden, turning it into like a fucking Chili's patio, cheering that on while SNAP benefits for children being cut, cheering it on, literally. I mean, we haven't talked about the whole Venezuela situation with that boat. That's a crime. What they did. That's a crime. That could be constituted as a war crime. There's no evidence that they were smugglers. People saying that it's AI. I don't know. I'm not going down that road. But the claim is that there was 11 people on that boat. And the argument was that it was a drug bust. But if there's 11 people on the boat, from all the Miami Vice episodes we've all seen in our life, if you're smuggling drugs, you want as much room on the boat for drugs, not for people. So were they bringing innocent people? Trying to, were they being brought to America? And you're cheering that on too. You guys get off on the suffering. You're sitting around watching brown-skinned people being pulled from their family, brutalized, handcuffed, and dragged away in chains, and you're celebrating that shit. Defending people like Derek Chauvin. Defending people who abuse women.
Thank you, Tito. Thank you. One more rose, chat.
Why are you crying?
The struggle is real, chat. Leon, thank you. Guys, what was our biggest gift today?
She's crying about a gift. I see you, Stevie in the building. Stevie in the building, chat. It's coming up for Stevie in the building. Doubles. Damn, these fruit flies are insane nowadays. Like, what the hell? We haven't had fruit fly all summer. What's going on, chat? Double chat, double chat. Use the doubles if we can. Literally. Chat, double chat, doubles if we could, if we can, chat, if we can. They have liquor. Oh, I don't know, but I just know, I thought they like sweet stuff, and I don't got nothing sweet in here. I don't think. Chat, double chat, double chat. I just know they'd be like just magically appearing from time to time. Chat, double chat, double chat, doubles. I don't tolerate the big flies. The big flies, we got a swatter for that. They get them right on out here. Chat, everybody lock in, chat, everybody lock in. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. I'm outside. I'm outside. And look, Czar's reading our chat word for word, chat. Like literally, she wants to be over here too.
Yeah, chat, Goofy.
You have no motion. Look at your number